White House officials have again become exasperated, the president, and his refusal to read. Yeah. So now, look, he doesn't read intelligence briefings. We knew that. But now we have coronavirus, which was mentioned in the briefings quite a few times. And, well, it might be a reason why, or just one of the reasons why, the administration was not prepared for this global pandemic, even though there were warnings. So now this comes from a report from the New York Times. Now, the report is pushing back on the administration's claims that his intelligence briefings had failed to warn him about the outbreak of COVID-19 before it began spreading in earnest around the United States. So he said, well, I finally learned this, the coronavirus, in late January. That's when we started watching that. And that's when I banned the Chinese, which he really didn't. But now, of course, facts don't necessarily line up with what Trump had said. Oh, I know. Amazing, right? Oh, that Trump would actually lie about something? It's very simple. Who knew? Wow. So anyway, one source told ABC News that intelligence analysts' conclusion that a new contagion was spreading through China could be a cataclysmic event, and that conclusion was shared with the White House on not one, but multiple occasions, culminating in a detailed description of the problem appearing in Trump's president's daily brief in early January. So this has been in Trump's daily briefings since early January, right? As it was moving through China. Now, the appearance of the president's daily brief item coincided with White House Director of Trade and Manufacturing Policy Peter Navarro's decision to author a memo, that's the Navarro memo, right, to the president warning about the economic consequences of a pandemic. So now economic consequences, of course, that's really important because, I mean, to the president, obviously, because all he cares about is the state of the economy. Now, I do care about the economy as well. We all should. We should also care about human lives. And that seems to be the one thing that's missing from the White House's, like what they actually care about. They're their priorities. They don't prioritize regular people. They don't prioritize working people. They don't prioritize the over 90,000. It was around 93 to 96,000 people that are dead. I'm not entirely sure now. That have died from coronavirus. No, it's all about the economy. Of course, right? Hey, turns out you can't have an economy if everybody's dead. I'm just saying. I know it won't kill everybody, but seriously though, like, does it really make a whole lot of sense to have an economy that's based on consumer spending when consumers are being like killed from a virus? It doesn't make any sense. But anyway, so he was warned, right? But when it comes to Trump, well, you can't see something in your briefings if you don't read them. And so there's that. But hey, look, just because he didn't read something doesn't mean that he wasn't briefed in meetings, right? Because, like, it's one thing to hand him a piece of paper, knowing President Trump, and being like, here, read this. He's going to look at you and be like, how about no, I don't read. I watch television. I already know everything. So why do I need to read that? Okay, it's one thing. It's one thing to hand him a piece of paper and expect him to actually read and absorb facts. Okay? So it's another thing when you sit him down in a meeting where you talk about these things, right? Because, hey, look, if Trump knows one thing, it's talking. But, of course, in order to talk and have a conversation, you also have to be able to listen. And, well, that's where the problem lies. Now, it turns out that, yes, handing him a piece of paper is not going to exactly help if it's got words on it. However, according to the report, while Mr. Trump does not appear to read the intelligence reports he is given, he will examine graphs, charts, and tables. Satellite pictures clearly interest him too. It's like a child. Here, hey Donald, here's a pretty picture. Oh, look at the picture. It's so nice. Is that What is that? That's Mar-a-Lago, Donnie. Remember that? Remember you go golfing there all the time? Oh, I love Mar-a-Lago. Okay, anyway. So it's ridiculous. Killer maps and graphics. Remember that story? Way back when these officials, maybe it's the same officials, maybe it's different officials, that came out and said, hey, look, this guy does not read. We are trying so hard to get this man to read his briefings, and he's not doing it. And he wasn't doing it then. What makes you think that he's going to do it now, even though we have some very, very high stakes? We have literally people, American lives that are on the line with coronavirus. And that, look, there was a report that just came out showing that if we had done social distancing like 2 or 3 weeks earlier, then we could have saved 36,000 lives. Oops. Apparently, no, not going to happen. No, because he doesn't read. He doesn't care. So now this has led to intelligence officials, of course, to do anything they can to try to get him to listen at least somewhat so we could do something. Now, the paper reported, quote, briefing him has been so great a challenge compared with his predecessors that the intelligence agencies have hired outside consultants to study how better to present information to him. They're hiring outside people. Like, I don't know. We don't know what to do. Like, this guy won't listen. He won't listen. He won't absorb any information. We got to go to the experts. We got to hire people to figure it out because I can't do it anymore. It's driving me insane. And yes, this actually happened. Quote, working to keep Mr. Trump's interests exhausted and burned out, his first briefer, Ted Gastaro, 2 former officials had said. Mr. Gastaro did not always know what to expect and would sometimes have to brief an erratic and angry president upset over news reports. You burned him out. Literally, this guy's only job was to brief the president. And that got to be so bad, so difficult of a job that he's like, I don't know what to do. Screw it. We're going to hire somebody else. I can't stand it anymore. I don't know. Just get me away from this job. I hate it. Wow. Now, those news reports, by the way, that he would get angry about, likely from Fox News, and of course, when he hate watches CNN, which he totally does. You know he does. Now, instead of even brief his or read his briefings or pay attention during the briefings, which he would get bored of, right? He instead gets his information from TV, the television. Now, that's problematic because what he watches are just opinion shows of people that have the same opinion as he does. Shows like Hannity. Now, the problem with Hannity is that he puts out fake news, literally. In fact, according to a study, people who watch Hannity are more likely to contract and die from coronavirus than people who consume other news. And of course, you guys all know the older studies, which show that people who consume Fox News are actually like less informed than people who watch other forms of news. But here's the thing. I mean, look, okay, before I get into that, Hannity puts out literal fake news. So let me just show that, right? Hannity puts out fake news. Fox News puts out fake news, blatantly false information. Now, here's the thing. Trump doesn't just ignore his briefings, doesn't just ignore the facts because he's deeply unintelligent. He is deeply unintelligent. But his stupidity is paired with a belief that he is right about everything. Arrogance and stupidity, all in the same package. How efficient of him. He's got the belief that everyone other than Fox News and himself are wrong and fake news, right? And only those on Fox News that parrot his preconceived notions. That the virus is dangerous, that anyone who's saying so is solely on a hunt to, or out to hurt him and his reelection chances, witch hunts, and that we have to reopen the economy. We have to do it now, which he sees, of course, is his path to reelection. I mean, that's what he was counting on, is a strong economy. Now, it really is a dangerous combination of ignorance and arrogance, which at the best time was already deeply problematic when we didn't have a virus that was rampaging across the country. I mean, nearly 96,000 Americans, 1.5 million Americans already have the virus out of 12 million that have been tested so far. This is downright dangerous. And ignoring the facts and actually only listening to talking heads on Fox News as president of the United States, it's not only dangerous, it's criminal. And it's not as if, and this is why these reports come out, by the way, this is a cover your ass operation from people that are working inside the White House. They're saying, hey, look, it's not our fault. We are doing everything we can. The adults in the room, and there still are some there, are trying our damnedest to try to get this man to listen to facts. And it's not working. It's not working. He's not listening, and he's not going to listen. Now, the other part is, again, warning that this man is deeply unintelligent. And do not put him back in the White House for their next 4 years. I don't know if we can afford that. Because no matter what we do, what lengths that we go to, he's not going to listen to facts. That's what people in his own cabinet are saying off the record. Because if you say it on the record, well, you get punished. You get fired. You get removed from your post. You get put somewhere else. You get blasted on Twitter. And then you get all those MAGA guys, hateful followers, now coming after you, like we have Dr. Fauci, like we have Dr. Bright. Now, Dr. Bright had been saying this in his testimony. He's saying that, the ignorance, willful ignorance here of the Trump administration is getting people killed. And you've got these officials who worked in Democratic and Republican administrations saying that the level of ignorance here is unique. We've never seen this level, and people have got to know. Our president does not care about any reality except for his own. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent, progressive media.